Yeah, 30 years of GÖPEL Electronic. It's amazing how quick time goes by, and as we invented the company 30 years ago, we never thought that we becoming a firm with nearly 240 employees and 40 million euro turnover. And if I compare the conditions for 30 years and today, then yeah, there are significant differences, of course. First of all, it was very difficult to find a bank that financed our company, then to find rooms for the company. So these were our problems as we started, and there was no mobile phone visible, or the internet was just on the horizon to see. Email was very difficult. Yeah, and today we're living in a world which is highly connected. News, bad news or good news going around within hours or minutes. So the community is much more connected than before. So we're living in a world that the people are in the center. And meanwhile, we see that we have to manage the processes much more better than all the years before due to these dynamics that we are confronted with. So social challenges, ecological challenges, we need to harmonize with the business requirements, and I think this is the challenge that the management has in this world. And we need to take care that we are growing, that we are sustainable growing, but we would like to grow also in an organic way and not by buying technology. And I think over the 30 years we were very successful in doing this, because we had always growing rates. So there was never a time where we said, oh, what's going on with the company? And I think this is a true success story. But the management of today has the job to create the environment for the employees, because the employees are the assets of a company. And I think that it is important to have always in mind that not the largest company will survive. It will be the company that adapts at best to the changing dynamics of the market. And I think here in this point we were very successful. And so I think that really 30 years of GÖPEL Electronic entirely is a very, very good story. Yeah, as I already said, we have meanwhile 4 buildings where we doing research, development and production on one side. So we trying to keep also the jobs here in Germany and not to offshore them. And there is no limit in growing from our point of view, but as explained, the challenge of today is to harmonize growing with the requirements coming from social and from ecological conditions. But the competition is getting harder. We have to take care that we are on the forefront, so that we're pioneering new technologies. So we would like to have a sustainable growing and a healthy growing. But there are no limits. That means we're taking care that we are always informed about what's going on in the market, and we need to adapt our strategies respective. That means what today is most modern could be that tomorrow it's old-fashioned, and that we need to know in advance so that we can adapt also our strategies. And I think this is the most important point also to survive and to be successful in the future. And the growing is always connected to the people. That means the employees, they driving the company forward, and the management has to create the frame that we are successful, to form teams with best skillness, bring them together, and then to guide them also to a successful path. Yeah, what has GÖPEL Electronics to do with porcelain plates? It's a funny story. As we started the company, of course, we were looking around also for engineering jobs because we had not so many products at this point in time. And there was an emerging technology, image processing, and we have in the neighborhood a company that is producing porcelain, and they had some quality problems. So we talked to them, and then we decided to start a project where we inspecting the surface of the plates via cameras. And we were in the end very successful, so we were able to improve in this project the quality of the production. And this was also the starting point of our inspection division, which is today a very important part of the company, also a very successful division. And so this was the starting point of a new enterprise in our company. The company started with 4 people, and these 4 people, they had their specific skills because we are a spin-off from Carl Zeiss, so we had a history in test equipment and test technologies. Of course, we tried then to leverage this also for the success of the company, but the target market in the beginning was mainly electronics production, also because we had at this point in time already a JTAG boundary scan solution ready for the market, but this was not enough to survive. So we looked around, we found a very strong automotive market in Germany, so we started to make projects in this direction, and that was also a good point for the business with automotive electronics. That means we have developed projects, or in the frame of projects, automotive test systems, and meanwhile the automotive test solution division is the largest division in our company, most successful here. And that means we have also a history of 30 years in automotive test solutions. Another part, as mentioned, was this boundary scan, which is an embedded test technology. Here we have meanwhile reached really the level of the world market leader, which makes us very proud. And over the time we have also collected a lot of partners where we created together solutions with in-circuit testers, with line probe test vendors, or with functional test vendors. And this partnership, or this network of partners, was a major part also of our success. So we're delivering components and also pre-integrated solutions, turnkey solutions with these partners together. Yeah, and the third division, our inspection solutions, I mentioned this already. This division is forming the third part, and so we are really in a situation where we have a unique skillness in the direction of test and inspection, because you can't do everything via electrical test. Many things you have to do also via X-ray inspection or via optical inspection, and we pulling together all this knowledge in one company, in one hand, and so we can deliver also advice to customers concerning what is necessary to optimize the production quality. Because the test and inspection systems, they are sensors for optimizing your production line. And as better are the sensors, as better you can also control the quality of your production. And in this respect, we feel our responsibility that we're delivering again and again better sensors for improved quality, also in the context, for example, of Industry 4.0, which is a major part now of today's discussion for solutions that are able to keep the flexibility which is necessary today if we're looking around how quick our product generations are changing. Will there be electronics in the future? I think this is a funny question because electronics is everywhere and we see more and more electronics. For example, in the cars, we're talking now about computers on wheels, and I think this is a very good comparison because as more electronics we're getting into the cars, as more safety we're also getting inside, which is good for the people. So I don't see any break in the continuation of using electronics in our daily life. I see it vice versa, that we're getting more and more electronics, which is good for us because everywhere where electronics is produced, we have a job to support the producers in making the quality of the products better and better. And so nobody has expected that the chips are getting smaller and smaller. Meanwhile, we're talking about the third dimension of chips. So we're going not just in smaller sizes, we're also going into another dimension. And so I don't see any reason why we should have concerns about electronics in the future. Of course, also optics is on the horizon to see, because it's getting more quick if you're using this technology. But yeah, it's a typical process of changes. But electronics, from my understanding, will be the major part of the components that we will see also in the future. Yeah, robots, they taking over the difficult work or the hard work to make our life easier, so that the workers are not more confronted with this heavy work. And I think this is very good, and it's also very important, and nobody should have fears against the use of robots or robotics. In science fiction, we're learning that robotics and artificial intelligence taking over the control of the world, but I think this is really just science fiction. We should have more the philosophy to see it as partners that we are able to concentrate of the work that is necessary to invent new products. Every time if a new technology came up where the people had fears that they're losing jobs, new jobs were created due to this technology. And I see it here in the same way, that we have a very exciting field of new products, of new technology using robots or cobots, how it is called today. And artificial intelligence will also make our life easier. It will allow, for example, that the cars are able to see in advance crashes coming, or that you're getting warnings if an accident could happen. So I think the combination of robotics and artificial intelligence is good, it's reasonable, but of course we need to take it under our control. And I see that it's necessary also to create respective laws, but I also see that we are on the way for doing this. So nobody should have fears against robotics and artificial intelligence.